Hi, everyone.
I'm always dancing to that song.
I know.
It's good. It's good.
Velvet Kitty said her first live.
Oh, welcome. There's a couple people I saw in the live chat who they are here for the first time today. So it's kind of crazy that you have over, combined with both channels, like 250,000 subscribers at this point.
I don't even know what it is. I think it's something like that. Yeah.
It's crazy, but people still are just joining for live. So welcome. It's awesome. I love the live crowd.
I do too. And also, Velvet Kitty, I did my hair for you.
So finally we took off the hat just for a minute. For a minute.
Oh my God, that's so funny. That's actually a part of the conversation today. So guys, by the way, I want to address a few things before we get into the topics because we have a lot going on. We are doing our members only that we're going to be dropping. Jason said either today or tomorrow. So
yeah, I think we're going to drop it today. We have a couple of little things to add to it. So we'll drop it. Did I say today?
Or tomorrow?
I meant tomorrow. Tomorrow when the show premieres.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay. So there's so much that's been happening. In 1 week, we were supposed to travel to 3 different cities. We ended up going to 2 different places, but one place twice. We were supposed to I went to Los Angeles for the Vanderpump Rules premiere. I was supposed to go to Salt Lake City to interview Monica Garcia. And then also we went to Charleston for our friend's event. So it's been
a whirlwind. I think that originally we were going to interview Monica and then we found out the news of stuff happening.
I think everything happens for a reason
beforehand. So yeah, it didn't work out. It wasn't the best timing. But sometimes we like to do a messy interview. So that would have been a really good one.
Yeah.
I think it would have been fun, but I don't think it's the right timing with what's happening with that. And I know we're going to talk about some of that today.
Jason is like a trailer connoisseur.
I love a trailer.
He loves a trailer for an interview, and he had this shit so storyboarded. It was going to be insane. And you know what, though? Again, things happen. That's okay. Life moves on. It's not a big deal. So instead of going to Salt Lake, we ended up going on another trip to Charleston, and surprise, we're moving
again. That's crazy.
Yes.
That's crazy. I'm sick of moving, so I'm really glad that this is going to be our final one. I saw a comment that the audio is choppy, guys. How do we sound? Let us know in the live chat if we sound okay. Before we move on to all our fun, hot, messy topics.
Oh,
Murray, thank you so much for the super chat. Murray, I owe you a phone call.
Welcome,
so
Velvet Kitty.
Today.
Yes, thank you, Murray. Caroline Bird, this is not my first time.
19 months as a member, Carolyn. Thank you. That's freaking awesome.
Adam, I showed the shade from Wendy. That's not very nice. You have a huge support behind you. Saw the shade from Wendy.
Oh, I think because you posted a clip from the Wendy Williams show after you interviewed Fallon, but that was years ago. So that was like when
she hasn't been on the air in a minute.
That was your first sit down.
Yeah.
Was Fallon.
And then it was on the Wendy Williams show. That was a moment.
Bye, yeah.
Listen, she could shade me anytime she wants. I don't care. But so just to kind of keep you guys up to date as to what we've been doing, we went to Charleston. We had a great time.
An amazing time.
This is us. It was Madison's event with a company that she collaborated with.
Vici Dolls.
Very
cool.
It was just great to see everybody. And we had already figured out before we went to this event that we were going to expand out and move again. We can't stay in the same place, but just going there and seeing how nice everybody was, that was so much fun. We also, I already met Leva.
I know I haven't met Leva, and I thought, it was really fun to meet her. She's cool.
Yeah.
She's actually, everyone is really, really cool.
I think
which is really nice. Like, those are people I would hang out with.
Yeah. And you know what's fun about this is, like, in Charleston, what I noticed is it's something that I've been kind of missing from Los Angeles a little bit because I didn't find it in Florida. I also hear, so many people are great in Hilton Head, but like there's like a real social aspect. And like, as much as I love sitting here and talking to a camera sometimes, I'm like, it's nice to just see people. And it's like, hi, like,
The hell are you doing?
And take a hat off. Somebody said
take a hat off.
Yeah.
Hat free.
Okay.
Hat free. I really I really enjoy it. I love Charleston. I love the people who are on Bravo, right? But it's just interesting because we meet so many Bravo people all the time through what you do. And sometimes you like click with people and sometimes you don't. And they're very nice people.
I feel like I didn't find anybody that I didn't click. And yes, I find some people sometimes that I don't click with. But that's okay. I've also learned
I've
learned in my 30s now, because Jason says I'm 30 and a half, that I
You're
avoid those people.
30.6.
I'm 30.6.
Oh, no. Yes, you are 30.6.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you remind me all the time.
I know. You remind me.
Next month, he's going to remind me that I'm 30.7.
That's right.
So
that's right.
That's great. Okay. Also, just to give you guys an update before we get into all of this, Pam Norris, yes, we are moving to Charleston. Jason is going to be back for one of everyone's favorite segments on Up and Adam Channel 2. And that is going to be
the after party
for Vanderpump Rules, where he's making the drinks
no making drinks this year. We're doing something
drinks.
A little different. Listen,
yes.
The drink process or the drink making process is really fun. And I had to get very creative last year because we were making so many drinks every week. I think one week I just tasted sangria because I was like, that's it. I can't do any more drinks. But this year we'll do something similar where we can start off and right after the show, we'll go live. It's usually during the time which Watch What Happens Live is happening, but it's the best time to talk about the show and just get our the first feelings of how we felt about the show. And then you do a recap the next day.
Right. So we have recaps coming up. We have after parties. We have a members only coming your way this week. And on top of that, we have our podcast giveaway at 1,000 ratings, which somebody said to me, Adam, this is so unethical. And I'm like, that's not unethical. We want to give something away and remind people that we're going to be doing a podcast only episode once a week. Like, if you think that's unethical, I think it's ridiculous. Who doesn't want free shit?
Yeah. I mean, we're going to do a lot of giveaways and stuff because we want to kind of, give back to the community that is also supporting the podcast as well. You know, it's like we can do that here, but sometimes it's nice to do that there as well.
Yeah.
When people participate and
if you don't want to participate, don't participate.
Yeah. Okay. Exactly.
Okay, guys. So we're going to start with the lies because that is what we called this. We called it the lies. And the first one was something that last night, Jason and I were talking. I was completely done with filming. And all of a sudden he goes, wait, Nene and Portia are coming back to the Real Housewives of Atlanta. What? And I said, wait, what? So then I looked immediately everywhere. I couldn't find it. And here is the article.
It's
right
not
here.
real.
Nene leaks and Portia Gobadia returning to the Real Housewives of Atlanta. So you can see this is the person by Kelly Wynn, January 28th, which was just yesterday. And Jason and I did a little bit of diving and we're pretty sure, like 89% sure this is not real. Now, I want to talk to you about the element of doubt that I had that maybe it could be real, because when Nene Leakes did the podcast with Bethany Frankel, we saw where right after she deleted all traces of that podcast, she refollowed Bravo and she's been in a lawsuit with them for a while, right?
Yeah, it's been a while.
Okay. We were like, what the hell is going on? And then Portia, she didn't get fired. Portia can return anytime that she wants. She was just on Ultimate Girls Trip where they went to Thailand. Yeah, she can come back anytime she wants. I'm sure that they would welcome her back.
I mean, I know the audience would, right?
Yeah.
I mean, at this point, Atlanta is suffering so much that it would be great to bring back some OGs.
Well, that was my first 2 points. And then the third point was, you know, right now they have them on sort of a pause. And Candy Burris talked about this a little bit because she was like, with this pause, like, guys, I have shit that I have to book. I have to get going. Like, I have jobs, a career, and my hands are in multiple different things. I can't sit here and wait for you guys to, you know, like give us a schedule if you guys are going to just take your time. And I'm like, oh, maybe they're trying to negotiate this where they can end the lawsuit and bring Nene back and try to save the franchise. So that's my head was all over the place.
But when it comes to the article per se, okay, first of all, there's no, if you look up Kelly Wynn, you can look up by writers, by articles on people. That doesn't exist, it seems. And also, why would you post that on a Sunday? Like, what, you know, why would you announce that news on a Sunday?
Real Housewives of Potomac's on a Sunday. What's wrong with the Sunday?
Well, Atlanta is not on. I don't know. I would have announced it on a Monday. I don't know.
Pam Norris said it's fake. It's not on the People.
No, it's not. It's fake. But it was going around. A lot of people sent that to us. I know a few people posted it as well. So we just wanted to
address that.
That's wishful thinking, though, because this would make me watch the show again. I've said many times, like, my first introduction to the Real Housewives was Atlanta. It was my favorite show. I love Nene. I don't care what people say. Love Nene Leakes. She's great TV. I love Portia Williams or Gobadia now. I would love if they came back. I mean, you people just got so excited when they were interacting on social media. when they were in Dubai. I think it would be a lot of fun. And I think that's what it's missing. We keep bringing on these new people over and over and over again. And then we get stuck with an Anne Marie or an Eden, whatever, or who else is on, or an Elise Slane, these people who come on, and it's just like, we don't want that. We want our OGs. We want some nostalgic kind of,
and people
TV.
who know how to play the game, like, for example, with over 300, sounds kinky, Adam Hands and All Things. Okay. Listen.
Okay.
Relax. But with, reality TV talent, what I feel like just watching different people like Housewives, I think that there are some that can do it really, really well. And I think that some really just like the lines are so blurred. So that's going to lead me into my next topic, which I want to share an article with you guys. Guys, you're going to freak. So our good friend over at Bywig Hello Drama ended up posting the legal documents because if you haven't heard, well, surprise, Brandy Glanville, because of everything that happened in Morocco, Caroline Manzo has now opened up a lawsuit against Bravo and Shed Media. Now, in the lawsuit, the details are a little intense. So they even said trigger warning on the post. Have you read the details?
I have not read the details. In fact, you didn't even tell me what we were talking about today.
Well, that's even better.
Sometimes you do that to me.
So surprise to you too. Okay, so Brandy Glanville at one point said this. Let me just roll out a little bit. Can we please air this fucking air show already? It's so I can be vindicated. It's been a year now. Please let me live and provide. This is insane. Okay, I have two things to say. One, I agree with her. Yes, okay. I want the show to be aired, and I think that that's a fair statement. But then also, reality TV is not the only job. You can find another job.
Yeah, no, reality TV is not. Like, I don't know. A lot of people we know on reality TV have other things going on because it's not just one thing. People are so reliant on it sometimes.
I know. And I think that's the scariest thing is that so many people are so reliant on it. So getting into the documents, trigger warning, this post contains content relating to sexual assault. Let me just go through a few of them. So Manzo walked on set to film the shoot. She made a conscious effort to be kind to Brandy in order to move past an argument between Brandy and herself, which that's Housewives, okay? While on set, Caroline approached the bar to have a drink. Immediately, she noticed that her castmates were drinking and some castmates appeared intoxicated. You're on a cast with Brandy Glanville. Of course she's going to be intoxicated. No offense, Brandy. Throughout the trip, the other housewives would frequently comment to Caroline that she had large breasts. Cast members asked Caroline, are they real or are they fake? Now, this was another thing that I sat there and I thought about because I'm not a woman. I'm a guy, right? But like we've had this conversation. People sometimes, like the other day, I was at, and this actually happened. I was at a grocery store and the guy, the cashier said, say cheese. And I said, cheese. And he's like, man, your teeth. And I said, oh, thank you. I just got them. Like, but I don't care, And some people really don't get, it's like if you enhance something or if you change something or whatever, like some people just don't care to say whether or not they're real or fake. Like you tell people all the time, I have veneers.
I mean, I had to. I had like my teeth got like shot open, but at the same time, it's like it's a little different, and I could see how that would be more uncomfortable asking someone. It is a personal question, your teeth, but it also is a personal question,
your breasts,
for the breasts. But I feel like what I don't really understand is coming from Caroline and watching her seasons on The Real Housewives of New Jersey. Mm-hmm. I'm like, is this what's making you upset?
Well, and here's the other thing too, I like to play devil's advocate. I have two cousins that are just woohoo wild. And I commented on the fact that there was like, they, last time I saw them, to the time that I saw them at that point, they had lost about 120 pounds each. And when I said, oh my God, you look amazing, it triggered them and it ruined Thanksgiving. So that was my fault, but it literally just ruined the Thanksgiving because I said, you looked amazing. Come to find out they got lap band surgeries and they didn't want anybody to know. Well, I mean, you lost 120 pounds in like 6 months.
Absolutely. I mean, we've had friends who've done that and are so happy to share their journey of doing it too. But honestly, like when you just drop weight, like, some of these ladies on Ozempic, you figure like
there's something going on.
There's something going on.
Yeah.
Like, where did it go?
Right. Okay. So next, later that evening, Caroline and her castmates retreated to a couch near the bar to watch a snake handler. Clearly intoxicated, Brandy walked over to Caroline, spread Caroline's legs, leaned into Caroline. She then laid her head on Caroline's inner thigh. Now, Caroline pulled away and moved to the end of the couch. They also noted that Caroline is 5 foot tall in height compared to Brandy, who is close to 6 feet tall. Now, number 55, exerting her dominance over Caroline, Brandy followed Caroline and sat right next to her on the couch. Brandy proceeded to kiss Caroline with a closed mouth. Brandy then kissed her again, and Caroline was very uncomfortable. Brandy then proceeded to mount Caroline on the couch, holding Caroline down with her body, forcibly squeezed Caroline's cheeks together and thrust her tongue into her mouth while humping her. Jesus. Okay. We're getting through this, I promise. Then Caroline tried to push Brandy off of her body. However, Brandy was restraining her because she's much greater weight, size, and strength, and Caroline was unable to free herself. Eventually, Caroline was finally able to break free. This is where it gets a little bit different. So Caroline, distraught, scared, and confused, got up from the couch. She went over to hold one of the snakes in order to distract herself from the assault that had just occurred. Now, Caroline tried to remain as calm as she could, all the while trying to comprehend what just had happened, right? Or what just happened. Number 59, when Manzo was 7 years old, she was sexually assaulted. So Brandy's sexual assault made all of the dormant and horrific memories immediately resurface. Caroline again felt like she was 7 years old and began to relive her previous sexual assaults. In the context of this sexual assault, she was in a state of shock. Caroline overcame the distraught, then went to the bathroom to wash her hands. This is where it gets wild, but her attorney sucks because wash her hands. Brandy Glanville and Gretchen Rossi from the Housewives of New York, wrong. Alex McCord from the Housewives of New York, correct. And Caroline walked into the bathroom at the same time. They met at the same time. That's okay. Get a new lawyer. Number 61. As Manzo stood at the sink washing her hands, Brandy Glanville entered the bathroom and came behind Caroline, forced her vagina against Caroline's buttocks, breasts against Caroline's back, wrapped her arms around Caroline, forcibly restraining her, and began washing her hands with Caroline's hands intertwined. Immediately, Caroline tried to exit the bathroom. So they're saying that Brandy ended up pinning her back and then keeping her hand on the door to not let her out. Now, this is Caroline's version of what happened. And I'm not saying that anybody is lying at all. We weren't there, so we can't say that. And then if you listen to the other housewives like Camille, Ava, Phaedra, and I believe Vicky, a lot of them are saying that there was something different that happened. And that's not exactly how that went down. Now I'm wondering, because Caroline is suing Bravo and Shed Media, why aren't you suing Brandy too?
I don't know. It's interesting. I feel like that. I think too, Bethany Frankel kind of opened a door, and I think you talked about that on the most recent podcast and also on some videos. It's really opened a door to people suing Bravo because of how they felt. And I'm not taking anything away from Caroline at all, because honestly, sometimes if you're intoxicated and things are happening, you're not really in control of yourself or in control of what you want to be doing, or, how you're pushing her away. And maybe that does bring up stuff later, and that's okay too. But, if it was that bad, like I think T-Talk with Shaw just said in the live chat, why did production allow that? Or did they allow that? I mean, there has been so many conflicting stories depending on who you ask. Well,
right. And the rest of the women, their version of events was that Caroline was having a good time with everybody, that they were all drinking, and that they think that Caroline, because she didn't bring it up based off of what they said that night, the next morning she brought it to production's attention, and they think that she realized, oh shit, this is going to make it to air, and I have a reputation.
Well, she has kids, she's a grandmother, she
doesn't want that to air.
I know you don't want it to air, but here's the thing. This is the kind of like conflicting problem that I have, is when you choose to do reality TV, anything that you say, do, whatever, that is going to be out there. It will be put out there. And
it's
there's
like
no
whatever you put on the internet,
back.
It lives there
so
forever.
It's like, if you don't want anyone to see it, like your kids, your grandkids or whatever, then don't participate. If you don't want to get drunk, don't drink. You know what I mean? Like it's very, I don't know. I think the accusations and just reading the lawsuit, her experience from it is kind of like, who would want to do a show after you read that?
Okay, it's not funny.
It's not. No.
From that point, then they were able to, Alex McCord, based off of the legal documents, helped Caroline get out of the bathroom. and came, and she said that no producers, nobody, she was screaming, help, help, help multiple times. Nobody would come help her. Alex McCord eventually came and helped her out of the bathroom. And then after that, she claims that Brandy continued to harass her, throw herself on her for the rest of the night, and try to follow her back into the bathroom multiple times. That is what they're saying. So I'm just curious. I mean, obviously, if I had to guess, I think that Caroline, either there's going to be a settlement or she's going to win in some capacity because of everything that Bethany has opened.
I don't know. It's such a weird place. We don't know. No one knows what happens. And then the people who were involved in the situation have two different renditions. And then if you look at Brandy's history, I mean, has been highly intoxicated before on screen. Mm-hmm. She's been pushy. Like we saw her in the Ultimate Girls Trip when she was at Bluestem Manor, and she kind of, pushed too. So like the odds are kind of against Brandy. Like I don't think a lot of people are going to believe, oh wait, I didn't do that, because we've seen so many times before. Then
there's the other lawsuit against Brandy and Phaedra from Ultimate Girls Trip, ex-wives club, from the butler Marco Vega, who is claiming that he is traumatized. And I'm laughing out of nervousness. He is also traumatized because Brandy like ripped his shirt off and did all of these things. So for Brandy, if I had to guess, when she's like, can you please just let me get on with my life? Girl, I don't think Bravo is getting on with your life. Like, she's like, I need to provide. I think that maybe you should have made some better investments, because with all of these lawsuits, you sound like a liability. Whether you did it or not, it's like there are a lot of people who are pointing fingers at you. And Bravo's still a business, and that's not good business.
Not good business.
No.
Okay. I do want some of these things to, like, I do kind of want to find some kind of conclusions for these things. We don't know anything about.
What do you mean?
Like with lawsuits, like we don't know what happened. We're never going to know what happened.
Well, that's the thing. That's why it's like the same thing of like, if there's like a murder lawsuit or whatever, like, there's a jury, and the jury has to figure out, like, that's what they go off of. So we're the jury, but we're not. But there's a jury in the lawsuits, and they will figure out. But especially if you're behind closed doors, there's also Mike Pax and Brandy Glanville, her team, her attorney. Not team, I'm using that word loosely, no shade towards Brandy, but her attorney was asking for the audio to be released in order to vindicate her. And she's still begging for the audio to be released. And all of the women are saying, let the show air. Trust me, you will see what actually happened. But I think with Bravo being sued right now, if they air that, then, and she's claiming that she has been traumatized and that this is triggering things from a sexual assault that happened to her as a child, and then you're going to put that on national television and she has to relive that. That is a huge liability. Did you even think about that?
No, I didn't think about that.
Oh my God.
That's huge. That's crazy.
Like, call me Adam D. Baker.
I mean, you gotta. I would use that loosely. All right. Let's be honest.
I'm just kidding.
Like providing and stuff. You have to make better investments, and I think that's gotta be good with your money.
Yeah.
Speaking of, guys, so we have a sponsor today for this show. We can bring that up, actually. And let me tell you, before we do bring that up, we handpick our sponsors with things that correlate to us, or even the channel that we think you guys might even like. And I know you guys are bombarded with ads all the time, especially here on YouTube. But these sponsorships help us grow the channel, keep the quality, and also travel to do interviews and make a really good production. So we thank you for sticking around when we go in to our sponsors. But today's sponsor I'm actually pretty excited about, because it is Rocket Money, which is a personal finance app that helps you kind of keep track of your finances and take control of your finances. And my favorite part of Rocket Money is it cancels your unwanted subscriptions. And Adam, you and I preach all the time to our friends and our family to take control of your finances, because sometimes people don't know what's going in and out. Me. Today we sign up for like all of these entertainment streaming services. We sign up for like these apps, and then you forget you signed up, and all the money's coming out, and you're like, I could have used that money for something else. I mean, alone last year, Rocket Money saved more than 5 million people $720 for the year. And that is a lot of money. And sometimes you don't think that all of those small little things that you signed up for are costing you so much money.
Yeah.
So I like Rocket Money. And if you guys are interested, it's free. You can go to rocketmoney.com/upandadam. That's rocketmoney.com/upandadam. I actually have the app on my phone. It is fantastic. I'm very OCD about my.
It's also pinned
my
or
finances.
pinned in the live chat, so you can check it out if you're listening to this on YouTube. Okay.
Now to jump back in. Where are we going? Because I'm so over talking about Caroline and Brandy.
We're moving on. So you guys know that Vanderpump Rules is coming out with the 11th season this week. Tomorrow. And we went to the premiere, which is going to be part of our members only conversation, just talking about that trip and Charleston and everything in between. But what I wanted to talk about was in this premiere, one, I thought it was really good, but there was somebody who I just still to this day miss, and it's Stassi Schroeder. So at the premiere, they end up playing the trailer before they put it all over the internet for The Valley, which is Jax, Kristen, Brittany, and a slew of their friends, their new show. And everybody was wondering, the main question was, if you're going to uncancel Kristen Doty for doing the same thing that Stassi did, why wasn't Stassi uncanceled? Right? So you guys might not know a lot about this, but Max Boyens is going to be, he was my manager at TomTom. Max, I love you. I'm using that really loosely. He was the manager at TomTom. He's great. Honestly, he's a really nice guy.
What are you trying to say?
They filmed a part of season 11 that you guys are going to see at James's house. And he is a topic of conversation. Well, he ended up wanting to film too, to be able to kind of clear his name on this topic, which you guys will find out exactly what this is. And he wasn't allowed to because he's still canceled. And I guess it's not even that I'm saying something. What I'm wondering is like, who gets to decide who comes in and comes out of cancellation. But for Stassi, I'm going to play an audio clip for you guys because she went on Jeff Lewis Live and she explained exactly why she was not there. Hold on. I mean, I thought it was
different situations. I'll explain in a minute.
Okay. Hold on. Let me bring this up. Different situations.
Max's situation and Stassi's are completely different.
Because of the popularity of Vanderpump Rules, they're now spinning off
The
Valley, so it's Jax, Brittany, Kristen. Does she have a boyfriend?
Yes, she does.
And when I heard the announcement, first of all, I was very excited about it. But then I was like, where the fuck is Stassi?
Yeah, where the fuck is Stassi?
I was mad at Bravo, just secretly mad at Bravo that they didn't have you and Bo on. And then when I talked to you this morning,
it's not Bravo's fault.
It's not Bravo's fault at all. It's your fault. You turned it down.
Well, I was asked to film the sizzle reel.
What does that mean?
Why?
You're a proven talent. Why would they need a sizzle reel?
Well, they filmed a sizzle reel to show what this show would be.
You to be involved into the sizzle reel of the Valley. Got it.
Yeah.
Okay.
So once this idea was brought up and they were like, okay, we're going to film a sizzle with all the people that would be on it. Will you be on it and film the sizzle? And every fiber of my being voted no. Truly, that's
a lot of money she walked away from.
The same people again.
It's a lot of different reasons. First of all, it wouldn't be a reflection of what my reality is.
How do you know?
Because I'm not friends with anyone. It's not my group of
You're not friends with any of them anymore.
I'm friendly with some of them. I'm acquaintances with some of them, and some of the new ones too. I think are lovely, but it's not my crew.
But you don't have to pretend to be close friends. I mean, you probably would become closer while you're filming together.
But
I'm
I don't
just
want
playing devil's
to.
advocate.
But I don't want to.
Okay.
I don't want to have to go and do things that I normally wouldn't do. I don't want to disrupt the life that I have right now because I really like my life right now.
Yeah. Wait.
When they filmed the sizzle, I was still friends with everyone, and I still was like, no.
But what about the Vanderpump Rules people? Are you friends with them?
A few of them.
Which ones?
Lala.
Love Lala.
Yeah, we love Katie, Tom Schwartz.
Mm-hmm.
That's
Raquel.
Sheena. I mean, I talk to them every now. I talk to Sheena every now and then. Her kid came to my kid's birthday party. My life is not the way that it used to be. I'm not in this group. I don't have time to just be in this group of friends that goes out all the time and gets to do whatever they want.
But maybe the Valley is going to be a different vibe.
It's not, because I know what they do on a regular basis, and that's not what I do.
Okay.
That's not what I do.
So I want to ask you a question now.
Fight,
Listening
drink,
to that,
party, repeat. Fight, drink, party, repeat. Fight, drink, party, repeat.
you know, she was paid a lot of money. If she would have stayed on the show and not been fired, she would probably be close to $1 million right now, or maybe over $1 million to make per season, which, mind you, they usually start in June and they're done by like September. It doesn't take like a long time to film Vanderpump Rules. They kind of just wrap it up in like 3 months. And then after that, it's like pick up shots. And, you know, it's not the same thing though as having like a 5-day schedule where you go. They might just call you into the studio, you do confessionals, whatever the case is. But she would be making a lot of money right now. Right before she was fired, she bought a house for 6 or something. Her house now is worth like $2.5 million. This would have been easy money for her. But then I saw where Blanca Marissa Garcia said Stassi wanted her own show. And I want to know, do you think she's holding out for her own show?
Absolutely. I think if she's going to return to reality television, if people want her on reality television, then yeah, she would wait for her own show. She has a lot of things going on. We didn't so much enjoy her live podcast tour. It wasn't that great. Remember that?
I'm so sorry. Wait, I have to say, did we already say?
What?
I mean, like,
oh, that we left? Yeah, we did leave because it gets redundant after a while. You know, I think a lot of people were at her show to see her reaction to Scandival and Vanderpump Rules, but then when she starts talking about other things, people kind of drown out. So would it be interesting to watch Stassi back on TV with her new life or her own show? I'm not sure, because she really fit into the group. It was kind of a group dynamic, and that's where we saw her. She played a role within the group dynamic. Who is Stassi, you know, alone? She has a great podcast.
Yeah.
I mean, yes, I don't know. I don't listen to it. I'd rather listen to Two Teas in a Pod, really, because they're just messy and weird.
You know what?
But
I'm like, they're growing on me.
They are. I've always liked them.
I've always loved Tamra.
I know. But I don't know. You know, it would be, I think, a little hypocritical of Bravo to bring her back, but obviously she was asked to be back, right?
Well, but then also, you know, I see so many comments where people are talking about, by the way, 500 in the room, hit the like button. But my thing is, there are so many people in the live chat who are watching from all over the world and watching these shows. And sometimes I think that we forget how much of people's time, their energy, and themselves that they pour into these shows, hoping that they are successful. And no, I'm not going to boycott the Valley. I'm actually really excited to see, not necessarily like there's not one person more than the other, but the fact that we get to meet new dynamic personalities who took the time to film this show, I think that it's worth watching. You know, I talked to one of the Vanderpump Rules former cast members, and they said that they filmed a little bit of it, got up and walked out, took the mic off, and says that the show is going to be a flop.
Yeah. For me personally, I shared my thoughts on that too. We have so many new interesting shows that come up all the time, and we're already invested in so many shows, and I'm sounding like I'm on repeat from, I guess it was last week, but you know, there's so many new things like Dubai, this franchise, and you start to get invested and you don't have time to watch all these shows. So you're going to be very particular in the shows you choose to watch. I don't have time for the Valley. I don't think I care enough about the Valley. I think that this new audience from Scandival, this new audience for Vanderpump Rules that happened during Scandival when they started repeating all the old episodes, you got a whole new audience. I think that is going to be the audience for the Valley because they'll want to follow the journey and continue the journey. I just don't think I don't know, what are we actually going to watch on the Valley? So, is it more of Vanderpump Rules because they all have families, they have kids, so do Lala and Sheena. Is there going to be some kind of transition for cast members of Vanderpump Rules to go over to the Valley?
Well, I'm going to tell you really quick.
Okay.
So, by the way, thank you so much for the super chat. I can only give you 5 stars once. Please tell Apple. No, that's okay.
That's okay, but you can always change your review. So if you want to go back and put in if we're talking about something or ask a question, you can always go back and do that there too. Or you can comment below. It's just as easy. Just
engage anywhere that you want to engage. We love you for it. So with this, am I my legs in your way?
No, I can't.
Okay. With the Valley, I think, that they obviously rode off of a high for Scandival ratings. And
Sure.
this, if you were going to do this spinoff, now would be the time because like you said, there's a ton of new viewers. There's a whole new audience. Emily and I talked about this because Emily we went to the premiere together. And she, before Scandal, never watched Vanderpump Rules. And then she would call me, we would get on the phone because she would be like, oh my God, Stassi just hit Kristen. And I'm like, this is so crazy, reliving it through somebody who's a new viewer because this was so long ago, you know? So it definitely did capture an entire new audience with huge ratings. And I think that season 11 will do great on its own. But I understand it too from a business decision from Bravo to, if we're going to pull the plug on this and try it, now is the time. And then there will be Vanderpump Rules cast members, current cast members, who will film with them. I believe Lala's going to make an appearance. I think that Sheena's going to make an appearance. I know of a few people who are going to be moving soon. And yeah, I think it'll be interesting if Vanderpump
You're not convincing me.
I'm saying
I'm
saying if Vanderpump Rules, if they decide to cap it like they did with Pirates of the Caribbean, like cap it on a high while it's good, you know, and we don't see these people anymore, but then they transition into their new adult lives into the Valley, then I'm open-minded.
I feel like we have watched them transition into their new adult lives by having kids, and no one really works at SUR anymore, which I think prompted Lisa to create Vanderpump Villa with a different network, which we talked about last week too. So I won't bore anyone with that, but you can go back and watch that. But I don't know. Like
well, you know how they're transitioning into it, right? Did I tell you?
Yeah, they're gonna have Jax come in, and we talked about that last week too.
Sweet.
I don't know if I'm not necessarily excited for it. I'll watch it. You know, I'll watch like an episode or two, but there's so many shows to watch that are not on Bravo as well that I do enjoy watching. So I don't know if the Valley's going to hit it for me.
Okay, that's fair. Yeah. We're open-minded. We'll give it an episode. Pam Robin, there's everybody in the live chat is wondering where your freaking thumbs up thing is.
Oh my God, the thumbs up?
Yeah,
it is packed in a box.
Yeah.
It's been in the same box since we moved from Florida. Okay, let me go back to the Stassi Max thing. That was a different situation. Max was like 13 in high school quoting a line of a song. He wasn't going out of his way to
call the police on someone
or do something that. So I understand where Max is coming from. And I think that is totally ridiculous that he got canceled for anything like that. I think it's stupid. But for him not to be like back in the group or be allowed to film, I think that's...
Well, the thing is he was allowed to film for the Valley. He wasn't allowed to film for Vanderpump Rules. So
I guess the Valley is the exception for the canceled people, right?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, it's the exception. Okay. Guys, we don't know at this point. We have so many boxes right now. We live out
Where
of boxes.
is my thumbs up light? I love that thing. Adam's mom got that for me, and it ended up being like the best thing. Oh my God. And the after party is tomorrow. So having the thumbs up light would be freaking amazing. I'm going to have to go through like 50 boxes just to find it. I think it's going to be worth it though.
You know, another thing that because I really thoroughly enjoy listening to, oh, by the way, no, I'm not going to put that. I do enjoy listening to Jeff Lewis. I think that he is really captivating. And I don't know if it's like whether he's screaming at somebody, ripping somebody a new asshole, or if he's being really nice, like on his new show, Hollywood Houselift. It's a totally different side of him. He's not like just wild, you know? And I've been watching him since before I ever moved to Los Angeles because I'm not watching him. My uncle would watch him. And then I was like, who is this guy? Why is he screaming at everybody? So that's kind of how I got to know him. He went on Watch What Happens Live, and if you guys have not seen his snarky back and forths with Andy, they are very entertaining. It kind of reminds me of me and Logan Cochran.
Oh yeah.
Just like
people think you guys hate each other.
I know Emily was saying that too. She's like, I get so uncomfortable with you guys because we're so bitchy to each other. But then at the end of the night, we just hug and we're like, love you. See you next time. Yeah. But him and Andy always go back and forth. And I think that Jeff sort of probably has this like chip on his shoulder because he ended up getting fired from his show. Then Andy and Bravo offered him Sirius XM, the radio show on, there we go. So he went on Watch What Happens Live and announced prematurely that he was going to be filming Real Housewives of Orange County for season 18. He wanted to be an ally for Shannon Beador because Shannon Beador is going to have a rough season. Not only does she have to take accountability to the audience for her DUI. She doesn't have to do anything, but don't take the contract. But she has to take accountability for the DUI and hit and run. She's going to have to pour herself out there for making fun of Gina for getting a DUI and like making it such a joke when it's something that's not funny. And I honestly hope that Gina holds her feet to the fire on that. And, you have Alexis Bellino coming in, who's now dating her ex, who was just on last season, right? So we didn't know that they broke up until the reunion. So there's so many different moving parts, and Shannon asked Jeff to film. This next thing that I want to show you really threw me for a loop.
Uh-oh.
Here we go. Wait.
Ooh, that's exciting.
And it was like a big lunch with Shannon, and they wanted me to do it because I'm very close to Shannon. I know all the details of the accident, the John Jensen relationship. I know everything. Like we're pretty close. They feel like, I guess, that I need them because when we did the release, they wouldn't indemnify me. And in turn, they want me to indemnify them. So what that means is basically if I say something and I get sued, they're not going to protect me. They're not going to insure me. They're not going to do anything. And then in turn, if I say something, they expecting me to be responsible for if they got sued. So my attorney's like, I don't really know what you're getting out of this here. You're not being paid. You got a TV show. You got a radio show. Why do you need to do this? And I said, well, I wanted to help Shannon, but if they're not going to protect me, I don't know. They may not protect me in the edit because they've got nothing to lose. I have everything to lose. They have nothing to lose because they want to indemnify me and they want me to indemnify them. So I'm like, no, I'm not doing this. Why would I do this? But if they're not indemnifying me and they're going to make me indemnify them, I don't feel protected. I don't feel safe. I'm not doing it. Happened.
So you're not going.
I'm not going.
What's Shannon's event?
I'm going to. I think we're going to go to lunch.
Oh,
Did it hurt Shannon's feelings? Was she upset about it?
Shannon totally understands why I'm not doing it because of what happened with her with Heather McDonald and Tamra.
What happened?
She did a podcast and she wasn't protected. They didn't edit it and she ended up getting sued. She got sued and Tamra got sued.
Oh shit!
it's
Yeah.
very expensive.
Whoa.
You got to be very careful when you do these podcasts.
That's why everyone.
You shouldn't be here.
Everyone.
Can you say who sued her?
Yeah. I mean, it's public knowledge.
Who sued her?
The guy, the Jesus Jugs husband.
Who is that?
Tell me the
Bellino.
name. Yeah,
Jim,
Alexis Bellino's
right? Jim
husband.
Bellino.
Okay,
It was a housewife, an ex-housewife husband.
I know who she. I know who she is.
Her husband.
So when you do these things, you got to be careful
yeah.
because you're like me.
This is not
Like,
good advice to give to your guests.
We have no filter. And then that's the problem. Like, I don't trust myself. So I'm like on camera, I don't trust myself.
I love how it ends on I don't trust myself.
I mean, isn't that wild though?
It's wild. I mean, I think Shannon going into the season not only needs or should take accountability, which I think she will. We saw her at BravoCon and she was very, very gracious and generous and open to people coming up and talking to her about those situations.
Yeah.
But I think she needs some allies, because a lot of people are going to maybe not be on her side. And then the ones who are, she still has to deal with this whole Alexis Bellino situation that's been brought up. So I don't know.
Yeah. And, people are saying if Bravo or Vicky Harnish asked if Bravo is insisting on Jesus Jugs, her name is Alexis Bellino, guys. Shannon is being pushed out, perhaps. Well, actually, Alexis Jesus Jugs Bellino is only coming into film as a friend of. One person who I haven't seen film yet because I've seen photo surface is Gina Kirschenheiter. And I'm wondering, but I see her all over the place, selling real estate. So that's great. But I haven't seen her film. And I'm wondering if they phased her out.
And we would know about that.
Yeah, I feel like we would know
I think
about it.
I think we know about that. Maybe it's just not the time to bring her in.
Yeah.
Very interesting though.
It's super interesting.
I would have loved to see Jeff on OC.
Well, and he is right though too. I think that sometimes when you have a camera in front of your face, he's so used to being so loose-lipped. He gets to say whatever he wants to say. He literally rips people's hearts out of their chest and then he rebuilds them and sticks them right back in like a fucking Build-A-Bear. And then he walks off and smiles and then goes to Pollo Tropical. Have you seen the show? That's exactly what he does. So yeah, I wouldn't trust myself if I were Jeff either. And you see in the live chat where people are like, well, then just be appropriate. That is not that's not how he's used to being on camera.
That's not his authentic self. So I think reality TV, like him on his show, Hollywood House Lift, which is great, by the way, season 2 is out now. You see him and it's a different version than what we saw on Bravo, but it is his show. So he's allowed to be himself and run his mouth, but then he can edit things out. I think it's a little different, but
yeah. Toaster JB said Kelly is what that boring show needs.
I would have to agree with you. I'd have to agree with you. I think now would be a great time to bring Kelly back.
She texts
This
me every
season?
time we talk about her because you guys run it to her. You guys, I don't know who it is in here, but you guys go on her comments and you're like, Adam and Jason talked about you, but it was nice. And she'll text it to me or she'll give me a shout. And I'm like, I swear it was nothing bad.
I understand she's polarizing, but it's reality TV, and I think you don't have to like everyone on reality TV. I think you just have to enjoy watching it and be entertained. She is entertaining.
But Jeff Lewis has had a lot to say about John Jansen, who is Shannon's ex. He has called him a lot of names. He's also talked about how he thinks that relationship was unhealthy, and who knows what he would say. And then John Jansen is technically not a cast member, so could he get him for defamation? Like John Jansen, I don't know if he's considered a public figure at this point just by his association with Shannon on the show, because you've never really seen him like on the show in the sense that he's like been like a title or like an intro or in an opening, you know, so that could be scary. Yes, anybody can sue anybody. So that is scary.
Just crazy. You think about John Jansen, right? And we just saw him. And I know Newport is like a small town, but not really. You know what I mean? And this is all happening.
The Greyhound girls
to fruition.
They want to know, is she even interested in coming back, Adam and Jason? For Kelly, I think that money talks, and based off of conversations that I've had with Kelly, I think that it's just like any situation, like whatever job it is. I think that if things aligned and fell in place and it was an environment that you were interested in, then she would go back. I don't think she'd say no. But I do think that she has standards in the sense that she knows what she wants to do and what she doesn't want to do. And I think that she has a very happy life with Rick. And I don't think she needs it.
She doesn't need it. But I think like right now, with everything going on with Shannon and Alexis, with Tamra and Heather being on the show, I mean, you're sticking in dynamite, you know, like in a good way. We're sticking in dynamite now with Alexis Bellino to literally just for her to come back with John Jansen and this be a storyline for Shannon. And Shannon has enough to deal with. So it's going to be crazy. But I think it's going to be, I think it would be fun. Now would be the time, but it's not going to happen.
She said, Pam Norris, like Kelly calls you up and Adam. You guys have to jump on well, you can't. But if you ever hear Jason's like, who are you talking to? Or if I put her on speaker, she's like, oh, hey, Rick, it's up and Adam. And I'm like, no, Kelly, like this has been a year now plus. Like it's not up and Adam. It's just Adam. But yeah, she's funny. Okay. So now moving on. I wanted to talk about Monica Garcia a little bit.
Okay.
All right. So there's a lot happening. As you know, we talked about this at the beginning of this. So when I was giving you guys a teaser, which I just need to learn to shut my mouth, and Jason says that all the time. When I was giving
because there are so many things that are on our itinerary, that are on the diary for the month.
And things happen.
Half of them happen, and then half of these new things pop up mid-month, and we end up doing something else. So that's why I'm like, zip it until it's confirmed.
Well, it was confirmed.
Well, I know. But then you don't need to tell everyone you're going on a trip.
Okay. So the day after the Vanderpump Rules premiere, I was supposed to get on a flight at 6 a.m. and head to Salt Lake City. That night, I was going to go out, get my cards together, very much so like you guys saw with Jen Shaw. We were going to use a similar studio, same thing, 3 cameras, a whole production.
We have a good partnership with people out there.
Yeah, Salt Lake City.
It would be really.
Oh, their production teams are great,
amazing.
But obviously, that is not how that ended up happening, and not for any bad reason, but Monica found out that she was not going to be returning to the show, and that was right around the same time. And she, I think, really wanted to sit back and think, what is my next move? You know, am I on pause? Are they bringing me back? Are they not bringing me back? There are so many questions. Like, do I want to just go on and do an interview and burn these ladies? Or do I want to sit back and see if there's any reconciliation that could be had where I'm potentially brought back to the show, which is playing it very smart, right? Mm-hmm. 2 T's in a pod. I enjoyed this podcast.
Me too.
They literally roasted the situation, and I don't always agree with them. But this one, let me play the clip. Here we go. It's always playing the clip. Catch it on X.
Catch it on X.
Hi, Teddy.
We heard some heartbreaking news today.
We're in mourning right now.
And I just feel like we need to start the pot talking about it.
That's why I'm wearing black. Let's just break this down.
Okay.
Because when somebody gets fired, especially a one-season cast member, they do not do interviews like this. They do not talk about the firing. And this only leads me to believe that she's coming back.
People are messaging me, we don't believe you and Tamara that you would ever film with somebody like Monica after what happened. And I'm like, okay, I just want to say one thing. What is worse? To be punched in the face by somebody.
Right.
Hide it from the rest of your cast.
Right.
And then blame production versus somebody who did a fan account trolling somebody who scammed the elderly.
Right. No, I agree.
We heard some heartbreaking news today.
I mean, isn't that the most profound thing that Teddy has ever said?
Back off of my friend Teddy. Back off.
Oh, now she's your friend. I could not agree more, but that is just my opinion. We talked about this also last week, and I mean, I don't know.
So
I basically what they were saying too is like, why isn't Monica fired? Or sorry, Heather.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, Monica doesn't know if Monica's words exactly where they put baby in a corner. Okay. She's in a timeout. And Teddy and Tamara seem to think that Monica is polarizing TV, which for her first season, definitely, like the ratings were up. There was a lot of conversations. And I do agree with it. I think that there's a lot of hypocrisy here. I think that, do I agree with, like going in on people all the time on a social media account? No. But as somebody who's on YouTube, both of us, we get a lot of comments that we don't necessarily love, where we understand that we're putting ourselves on here to talk with you guys about our favorite things, and not everyone's going to love us. We get some of the nastiest comments, but that's just part of it. And I think that when you put yourself on a bigger scale, like Housewives, those trolls, whether they're on your cast or not, are still going to exist. So what I don't understand...
She's not the only one with a burner account.
Well, and
like,
that's coming out.
That's going to be coming out. You'll see there are two ladies. We already talked about which one is, or potentially, allegedly is Lisa Barlow's. And allegedly Heather Gay has one. Allegedly someone else has one.
You weren't supposed to say that.
What? What wasn't I supposed to say?
Any of that.
We've already talked about Lisa Barlow's account. That was like last year.
Did you talk about Heather's?
I said allegedly. She has
allegedly,
one.
yeah, because we haven't seen it. Okay. So, okay.
This is why you got to prep me on what we're talking about before we go live.
My page is open. The notes are right here. So, wait a minute. From this point, she has Tanisha, who is still currently employed by Heather, right?
Who ran the account too
with Monica,
right? That's okay, right?
It's not. You know what it is, and I'm not going to lie. And I saw this because I was always a big fan of Heather Gay's until I met her at BravoCon, and I saw a totally different side, and I was very turned off by Heather Gay. I think Whitney's great. I think that a lot of the women are great, but Heather Gay just was not it for me. And I was always told that she was a producer's nightmare and that she was very difficult to deal with, and that there's a different side of her when she's not filming, right? So now seeing this in person, it was just totally different. And I'm like looking at it like, it was almost like, do you remember when Jax Taylor said, I'm the number one guy in this group? I think Heather really thought she was the number one guy in this group, And I think that Monica coming in and being like, even when the Reality Von Teese thing came out at the finale, and she was like, it became about Monica in that moment, and it wasn't about the rest of the ladies. It was more so focused on her, which would have been a big win had they have forgiven her and brought her back. That's when Heather Gay ended up opting in to forego the information about the black eye with Jen Shaw, which if you go and listen to Dorinda Medley, that's some interesting shit, because she spoke to a doctor, and you can hear this on her radio show. She spoke to a doctor who explained how the blood cells in your eye work, like right here around the eye, and how it breaks and how things happen and what the effects are and how long those effects take. Not only was it questionable when she showed up on the trip with an already blackening eye, but then also the fact that it was the next morning and something apparently happened, it would have had to have been like super blunt force trauma for it to be that drastic. So I think that there's a lot of discrepancies in her story. I don't believe her. You already lied. I nothing against her. It's not that I dislike her. I just don't believe her. I think that you're a liar. And I think that the worst, I don't know what's worse, is you put production's jobs in jeopardy when these people are trying to make an honest living, but you were trying to protect yourself.
Yeah.
So
that's
you're
a great,
liar.
Great point, a valid point. Just my sense, even at the reunion too, is I think really that Heather and Lisa wanted to just be the faces of this show and have it center around them. And since Jen left, they thought that's what they were going to get, and they didn't, because they had another firecracker come in, and it wasn't their show. It wasn't their show, because honestly, like, I don't know if Monica wasn't there this season, whether you like her or not. I always say this: I don't always like reality TV people, right? But you don't have to like them. If there's a story and things are happening, like, look at the ratings. They speak for themselves. Yeah. You know, bringing Monica on was a great idea. I think getting rid of her right now is a bad idea. But if there is no reconciliation with the ladies, it's going to be very hard to film.
Yeah. Well, and then also, you know, this season, I think that they're really trying to figure out, and I have already spoken to a few people about this. I think what they're doing is they are testing 4 different women. One's named Shannon, one's name is Brittany, one's name is Mei Lee, and the other one's name is Bronwyn, which I've never heard that name before, OC. And I'm like, not another Bronwyn, but I'm going to give her a chance if they do end up testing her to film. But going back to it, 4 people testing to film, that's sort of a lot. So I think that this is their way of trying to figure out, like, oh shit, we're coming off of a high. We still have to make this a success. The other women will not film with Monica. So we need another firecracker. Who is that person going to be? And now we're grasping for straws. But instead of firing Monica, I think that they had an open conversation, letting her know, like, listen, the door isn't completely closed. Let's see what happens. Let's see if people can forgive and forget, like they did with Tom Sandoval after Scandoval, because everybody roasted him. They started filming, and then people started accepting him back into the group. Can Monica have the same fate? That's the question.
Time will tell.
You're watching Up and Adam.
Okay.
Oh,
time will tell.
Okay.
Time will tell.
So I think that I feel like we covered everything.
Yeah, we did cover everything. It was a slower kind of week, though. You know? Wasn't it a slow weekend? Usually we come on and we have like 15,000 things to talk about. We have to like really dissect it. Or maybe I'm just not in the loop today.
Yeah, you just weren't in the loop. Yeah, okay. So just to remind everybody, because we have over 650 people in the room, again, click on the link that's pinned in the live chat. If you're listening to this on a podcast, drop a review, a rating, and let us know what you think about the Heather Gay Monica situation or any of the topics that you're listening to, because we love to hear your feedback. And happy Monday, guys. We'll be dropping a members only for all of you on Up and Adam, the main channel. And congratulations to Jason, because on Up and Adam channel 2, we're back for the after parties.
Can't wait.
Yes.
I'm excited.
Love you guys. We'll see you next time.
See you tomorrow.